Hello. Can you hear me? I think we are up and running, if I'm not mistaken. Hello. How's it going? Oh, nice. So right now I have it set up where the stream cannot hear your voice. I can hear your voice, obviously, because I'm responding. Do you mind? Do you mind your voice? No, I have it figured out. It's just a press of a button. I'm just making sure you don't mind your voice being heard. All right, then we are clicking the box. All right, you are internet famous now. Well, I'm going to be doing Heaven on High because that's the easiest one for me to solo and answer questions at the same time. I'm very used to Heaven on High, but I need to change my glam first because that's the most important. We're gonna try to look cool. All right. 8-bit Cerberus is in the chat. I think Heather's in the chat. Yeah, I put it in the Deep Dungeon Journal. Oh, he's in the Discord as well. Oh my god. Being able to mount while you move still freaks me out. All right, 1 second. YouTube is telling me to change my bitrate, so I gotta do that real quick. Once I remember where to do that. Oh, there we go. For verbal questions, I would prefer voice chat. All right, I changed the bit rate, but it's still giving me a warning. Maybe it just takes. Do I need to restart the stream? Did I mess it up? All right, now we're going. Now we're going. Still giving me the bitrate error, but I changed it, YouTube. I'm trying to make you happy. All right, now it's not yelling at me. Yay! I have not streamed in over a year. It's been a very long time, so college, and I was never good at it. There's also that. Yes, so this is going to be the order of operations. I'm going to talk for a couple minutes about Deep Dungeon, not Heaven on High specifically. The first part is not about Heaven on High. It is the Heaven on High portion is just to do something while I am talking. The first part, just think of it like a lecture. I might stop at moments and be like, hey, anyone got questions about that? Feel free to speak up with any questions. If there's people in the YouTube chat and they have a question, I'll answer them there, and then once we have fulfilled the Q&A, then if we get 3 other people that want to do Deep Dungeon for the first time, we will dive into the palace. How does that sound? CC. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to get that set up earlier this week, but I had to catch up on raid stuff, and work's been super busy lately. We just started our swim season, so I have shareholders, also called parents, to answer to. Awesome. Thank you. So what I was being slow with, apparently they added this overlay for breaks thing. And so I added this awesome video, and I really want to show part of it before we get started, but I don't know how to actually activate it because it says, before going live, test the overlay by navigating to a stream dashboard and clicking start break. But I don't see anything that says start break. But it's a fun video from my raid team, but maybe we'll do that at the end when there's something else to do. All right, so I am at the person for Heaven on High. You will find a person like this at Palace of the Dead. You will also find a person like this for Eureka Orthos. And if they don't back out on us for Dawn Trail, whatever the new one, hopefully there is a new one. They said they wanted to. You will see this screen as well. They like to decorate it with OG Final Fantasy text, which I really, really like. Even though my first ever Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy 11 online. That was my first one ever. And 14, I think, was my third Final Fantasy. All right. Yeah. I remember being a kid, and my brother had a PlayStation. He had Final Fantasy 7, and I played 15 minutes of it, and I got bored. All right, so this is your selection screen. Well, actually, I'll go back. So there's a few options here. Enter, reset. So if you die on a floor, you'll have to reset so you can go back in. Disband your fixed party. So a fixed party is if all of us group up together, go in. That is a fixed party. If I go in by myself, that is a fixed party. You can disband it and then use that on your own, but you won't get the solo achievement that way. You can't cheat your way up to floor 90 and then do 91 to 100 by yourself. You can view scores. So this is for trying to remember I think this is world only. I don't think it's data center. I think there is somewhere that shows data center, but I'm not sure. But you can get to solo rankings and party rankings. As you can see on solo, I have a high score of that for warrior, high score of that for gunbreaker. Monk, I must have tried at some point, or that might have been in a party. But that'll show you progress you have on. Oh yeah, there's go party monk right there. So I like the rankings. I haven't really looked at them because I've never completed solo 100 yet, so I don't look at them. If I have completed it, then I would look at it. Learn about Heaven on High. This will I've honestly never opened this screen before, but it'll just give you quick tutorial over all of Heaven on High. Pretty nice. I like that they put that stuff in there. What was that noise? One second. Yeah. So, the origin of this actually was with Final Fantasy XI. Final Fantasy XI had this system called Salvage, and it came out with the Treasures of Atragon, and sorry, someone's distracting me. um, and So in Salvage, do you guys care about Final Fantasy XI spoilers by this point? Okay. Um, uh, you were basically climbing this tower, which ended up being Alexander. So the Alzadal undersea ruins that we know from this game, that was Alexander in Final Fantasy XI, and that's where Salvage was. But so it was 100 floors, I believe, and you had to save every 10 floors like this, I think it was. But in Salvage, there were specific tasks you have to do every floor to advance to the next one. So some of them, the one I can remember the most, because it was the biggest pain in the ass, was there were these lamps, and you had to light the lamps in a specific order. So basically, you had to be on voice chat, which was Ventrilo or TeamSpeak back in the day. And once you you had to try them randomly. So if there were 4 lamps, you just had to click them in order, see if it worked, and then change the order. And it didn't work, change the order again. And then other things would be like kill so many mobs. Something else might be kill a specific mob. But every floor there was a new task you had to do. So that was sort of the brainchild for this. And then this just made it Final Fantasy 14 like. And then WoW has added something like this since, and I really like them, called Delves. So Delves are just getting added in the current expansion. These started all the way back in the Heaven's Word. But there's similar ideology on how to go about them. I find Deep Dungeon more fun than Salvage or Delves, but both are good. All right, so when you click on Enter on Heaven on High, you're allowed 2 save slots. They do these cool little pixel art of your job, so I look like a cool little warrior there. As you can see, I have a current save of floor 71. I don't think I'll click on that one for this tutorial, because 71 is where it gets, well, for solo it's before that, but 71 is where it starts getting really hard. So if you want the solo achievement for each of the deep dungeons, you have to start at floor 1. So that means Palace of the Dead, you have to go 1 to 200, and then the other ones you have to go 1 to 100. If you start, so I'll say fixed party, yes, and then it'll ask me, or do you want to enter alone? Yes. You can choose floor 1 or floor 21. But if I start on floor 21, then I won't be able to get the solo title achievement. Before we do that, I have a specific HUD layout just for Deep Dungeon, because some of the elements that come up in there, I need this stuff in this certain order. these are very important. So sustaining potions are from Palace of the Dead. Empyrean potions are from Heaven on High, and Orthos potions are from Eureka Orthos. If you're ever asking how do people solo on like a DPS job and not die, this is how. They have potions that are huge healing that you can only use inside there. And the way you get them is you come to the custodian, exchange artifacts, which are these pot shards, and then you get 20 potions per pot shard. All right, so I think we are right, and then this guy will visit later. I think we are ready to go in. Enter, new save slot, fixed party, yes, floor 1, and we're off. So my main jobs that I do solo on are warrior and gunbreaker. I don't like to kite, so that's why I don't do physical ranged. I like to be able to just stand my ground and do whatever. All right, so the main task of deep dungeons is to kill enough enemies that the elevator opens and you go to the next floor. Do that enough times, then you reach floor 100 and you win. All right, we're done. That's the tutorial. Good job. I'm kidding. There's a lot of things to look out for. So you can see there's an Aether Pool arm. I'm maxed out 99.99. If you're going to the higher floors, you want to be usually around 60 or higher. For the high floors, you probably want to be around 80. And then when I'm opening these chests, I'm getting these pomanders. So you'll see me clicking a bunch of them. Affluence I just used, and that was just a trap I stepped on. So every room has a possibility of having a trap in it. So there's certain rules about that we're going to go over, but not quite yet. But that's another reason why I like to go on Warrior or Gunbreaker, is you have more defense and you can live through some of that stuff. So right now, if I were on a higher floor, you can see the key is glowing blue. This icon that you might not know what it is yet, just turned blue. So when they turn blue, that means they're activated, they're ready to go. If I was on a higher floor, I would just skip these mobs and go up to the next floor because I don't need any more kills. But it's easier. One, you want to get to max level as quick as you can so you can do more damage and you can have more health and blah, 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 blah. More abilities. So as we can see, I'm at level 61. Heaven on High will go up to level 70. Palace of the Dead will go up to level 60. Eureka Orthos will go up to 90. They didn't do Shadowbringers, so that's why there's that gap there. And then you can see I turned into an otter because I hit another trap. If you turn into an otter, you can't do anything. So you just gotta run around and run away. You will see 3 different types of chests throughout the floors. Right there, that is a gold chest, and that will drop pomanders. Right now on these floors, that's all they will be. And then you will also see brown chests. Those will be items, so it could be healing potions. In later floors, it could be those pot shards we talked about. And the blue chests are the fun ones. Sorry, my phone's blowing up. The blue chests will either have a chance of giving you Aether Armor or Aether Pool Arm. And you need those to be stronger, take more damage, etc. But they also have a chance of dropping Pomanders that fall into this category called Magicite. And so if you get one of the 3 main primals, Ifrit, Garuda, or Titan, if you use those, it'll wipe out all the enemies on the floor, which means you get a free floor and you get to go up to the next floor right away. But it also has a chance of dropping an Elder Magicite, which would be Odin. And if you have an Odin one, you get to use that on a boss, and basically you get to kill a boss for free. So they made it for Heaven on High. They made it incentive to open blue chests. The difference between Palace of the Dead and Heaven on High in that is the blue chests only do Aether Pool, Arm, and Armor. So if you're maxed out, it really does nothing. So I'm glad they added that. They kept it in for Eureka Orthos. They're a little bit different. If you don't know, Eureka Orthos is all built around the Crystal Tower. So instead of the primals, you'll have demi-clones of Doga and the other one, or an Onion Knight. I can't remember who the other clone was. Doga, Une, there we go. So that is most of the just like factual information of Deep Dungeon. Any questions? Yeah. Yeah. So if you're just starting, are you talking about solo or in a party? Yeah, so in a party, everything's going to be pretty easy. It starts out really easy. Keep in mind, it's going to seem a little harder than it does for me now, because if you've never been in it before, you're not going to have your Aether Pool arm and armor up to max. So that really allows me to like steamroll all these and pull a bunch of stuff. But also, if you're in a party, your damage is basically quadrupled to what it is solo. So in that respect, it makes it a lot easier. For parties, it really starts ramping up around 61. That's when you have to turn on your thinking caps, watch out for mobs, and not split up as much. And this is for Heaven on High. All of them are different. That's the hard part. They all have different breaking points on when it gets hard. One, because Palace of the Dead is 200 floors, so that's automatically just different than Heaven on High, which is 100 floors. And then they just learned lessons from one content to the next and fixed things, either for better or worse, some people might say. So we'll start with Palace of the Dead. I would say everything is pretty easy in a party. This is if you've never gone into it before. If you're brand new, all of it is pretty easy up until around floor 80. There's nothing that really changes to make it more difficult after that. But the floor, the reason I say it is the floor 100 boss is just a little more unique than all the other bosses up until then. So that's why I would say floor 80. Where if you're not new, it doesn't really get harder until around usually around like floor 170, 180. That's where like it really picks up and gets really hard. Basically, once you're up to that level, every normal mob hits as hard as a boss does. And that's why it gets harder. For Heaven on High, like I said before, a party, it's probably around 61, assuming you have the correct Aether Pool arm and armor. For solo, it's around 51, because that's when you start running low on time. And this will go like more into the topic of best practices. But yeah, so you can see up here it's counting down. I have 50 minutes left. So every 10 floors, you have the basic duty finder time to complete it. So for me as a tank, the hardest part I have when I'm soloing is getting up to those floors is just being able to kill mobs fast enough that I can get through the 10 floors within the hour. So, and that's one thing I'm struggling with, or not struggling with, but I'm getting better at or trying to get better at with each run. So twice now I've gotten to, trying to say it in a way that doesn't spoil anything. I got to one of the top floors to the boss in Heaven on High, and the only reason I didn't beat him is because as I was fighting him, the timer ran out. So I would have beaten him, I just didn't have enough time. So that really is the challenge. Yeah, so for party, there really isn't anything like that. For solo, there is like a solo community. I'm not really part of it because I'm not that good. But my best resource, there's more people than just this guy, but Angelus Demonis, I think is his name on here. He basically does nothing but solo Heaven on or solo Deep Dungeon. Can you just reset the level to the level up? Yeah, so if I'm capped out on Aether Pool, I can go to the curator out there where I got the Imperium potions. And I can buy grips. So this glowy orange weapon, I can if I get 10 grips, I can get this weapon, and I can do that for every job. So that's how you would lower your Aether Pool so that you can get more, is by basically building a deep dungeon weapon. So you can get a weapon, you can get 2 weapons for Palace of the Dead. I think there's 2 weapons for all of them, if I remember right. I haven't really gone after the weapons since they introduced Deep Dungeon and Heaven on High, but yeah, that would be the answer to that question. 8-bit Cerberus, soloed Heaven on High, 21 to 30, war, beat the boss. Oh, yeah. So, I remember when this first came out, I was amazed that I could go in solo. So I tried, and this is before like anyone knows how it really works or how the competitive scene or anything. I remember I went in and I got rocked by the level 10 boss, and I was like, never doing that again. Is there any cap Aether Pool plus for Deep Dungeon? What do you mean, Kaylin? Can you... Oh, just what does it go up to? Yeah, it's always 99. So 99 is just sort of like a throwback number to old school Final Fantasy because like levels capped out at 99. So that's why Aether Pool is 99 in here. So I guess we'll go on to... Let's see, what is this? Yeah. Best practices. So, just a little background. I started my official journey through Deep Dungeon during COVID lockdown. I had just joined the community that I'm in. We're called AIE, if you guys are curious. And yeah, Cirilla. So the overall system is called Deep Dungeon. So they are both deep dungeons. They are just different deep dungeons. So Palace of the Dead was what they made first back in Heavensward, and they created it to floor 200. A lot of people were not happy with it going up to floor 200, myself included. It's just a little bit too long-winded. And the solo journey isn't really fun because... oh, I should not have opened that yet. I gotta work on my multitasking. I am... As much as I am trying to teach you guys, I am learning to task myself today. I was saying something. So they 200. It's really annoying for solo because nothing is really hard until like after floor 100. So the first 100 floors are just mindless tedium. That's real annoying to get through. It doesn't mean you can't die. It's just nothing is challenging about it, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's the difference. And then they did Heaven on High. They made it 100 floors. They added the Magicites to the blue chest, so the blue chest had something to do. And then they skipped Deep Dungeon for Shadowbringers because they thought it didn't... Jeez, can I get more traps, please? I'm going to get myself killed. I was just trying to protect myself there. I was afraid of getting blown up. Oh yeah, I haven't even gotten into... the traps and all that. Floor 99 in Palace? Yeah. When I say things easy or hard, it all predicates on that you have the Aether Pool needed to be there. Some skill can make up for some of that, but not all of it. Like if I were to jump into my floor 71 save and I only had 10 Aether Pool, I would be toast. Everything would just basically one-shot me. Yeah. Kind of. Yes. if you're going for anything, which if you're doing it, you are. Yes, if you die, you will have to restart because you want to get your goodies at the end. If you don't care about any of that, then it'll show you like how many knockouts you have. But I I can say I've been doing this since it released in Heaven's Word. I've never re-entered a run that I died on before, so just not really used. It's possible, it's just not really done. Yeah, so they made changes for Heaven on High. They made the blue chest more useful. They made it 100 floors, so it flowed a lot better. For Eureka Orthos, they made the beginning harder than Heaven on High, so you have to pay a lot more attention early on. I have not really done a lot of soloing in Eureka Orthos, but I've cleared floor 100 in Eureka Orthos like 5 or 6 times now. But yeah, best practices. So I started my my Palace of the Dead crawl when we were in lockdown for COVID, and if you're unlucky to upgrade your Aether Pool, no, you cannot reset your level. If you're under leveled on Aether Pool, then you just got to make the best of it. There's nothing you can do. Nope. Nope. The Aether Pool is what it is. You can abandon your run and you can start over. But, I mean, at that point, you might as well just keep going and see how far you can get. Because at least you can learn something, you know? So, I just got a Garuda. So, once in a while, you'll see these cute little minions. They'll give you a nice little buff. So that gave me Senri's Favor, regenerating HP over time. That's very nice. Thank you, Senri. But yeah, if you're under-leveled on Aether Pool, there's nothing you can do except for open more blue chests. But yeah, they made... It's possible, but I mean, you always want to be opening blue chests, so you probably won't be under-leveled, and the chances of making it all the way to 100 on your very first run are pretty low anyway, especially if you're new to it. So, like, when I do lower my Aether Pool, I never lower it more than like 20 at a time, just because I know my group is going for floor 100, so that way I'm never under leveled. Yeah, the Fat Cat will give you a regen buff. There's another one that will give you like an attack up buff. I hope I'm not talking too loud. I just moved into my apartment in February and I don't want to make my neighbors mad. But yeah, there's small differences between all of them. I will say out of the three, Heaven on High is for sure my favorite. I don't have my spine drops. Look at me being unprepared. Oh, wait. Oh, that's paralysis. Oh, there they are. Okay. So another thing to look out for, enemies will respawn. So just because you killed them doesn't mean everything stays dead. All right. So best practices. Thinking back to COVID times. we had a rule to make sure we social distance. And the reason you want to do that is if someone steps on a bomb or something, you don't want it killing everyone else in the party. And if you have mages and stuff, their HP pool will still be affected. So just because gear from the outside doesn't make a difference, there is still a difference between being a tank, a healer, a DPS, a caster, and all that. So you don't want to kill your clothies if you can help it. All right. When we get to the next set, I'll go over more. I'm not going to really explain the bosses. They're super easy. The thing about Heaven on High is all the bosses except for one are super, super easy. They're just brain dead. But the floors on the higher Heaven on High makes up for the lack of bosses being difficult. You also might see me not playing perfect form. I'm trying to do a few things at once. So Machinist is dominant just because they have super high mobility with high damage. They can lock enemies in place with. Again, sorry, I don't really play physical range, so I don't know the name of all the abilities, but they can basically weigh enemies down so they can kite them easier. That could just be an Aether Pool thing. Do you know what your Aether Pool is at when you're going 1 to 50? Yeah, that would be my advice. Check to see what your Aether Pool is. If you're trying to solo, get that Aether Pool up around 60. Because you'll just have a much better time soloing if it's higher. So 60 is sort of like the break point. I only know the names of weapons from Palace of the Dead, so that's going to be my reference. Up until 59, up through 59, you'll have the Pajali weapons, and those are the white glowy ones. But once you hit 60, you get the Kina weapons, and those are the red ones. And that just denotes that you can do more damage or take more damage. Yeah, 15 is really low. You're going to have a hard time on floor 50 with 15. All right, so now we're going to talk about how we actually maneuver through the floors. So the room you start in is always safe. On the mini-map, it'll have a little flag on it, but if there's other things in the room, you might not see the flag. So we have the beacon of return. So there's never any traps in the safe room, ever, the starting room. My rule, my best practices is you always stick to the outside. There's a higher chance of traps being anywhere around the middle. So you always stick to the walls when you're running through any of the deep dungeons. Another good idea is, again, on these lower floors, you might see me break all these rules because at this level for me, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so you want to stick to the walls to avoid traps. I'm going to use one of these intuitions because that's going to bring up something else for me to talk about. Yeah, so I want to clear out like the sides of these rooms to get to that treasure chest. Yeah, the thing I've learned about soloing is one, just find what you enjoy playing. So I main tank for my raid team, so I am very comfortable on tank. Like I don't have to put a lot of thought into warrior. I have to put a little more thought into gunbreaker, but on this character at least, that was my main tank before I went back to warrior. My main the character I started with was a warrior from day one. I started as a warrior and a summoner. I leveled those at the same time when the game came out. Ooh, here's the thing. So, you see how there's many enemies in this room? That is because it is what's called a treasure room. Normally, a room will have 1 to 2 treasure chests in it, usually just one. But a treasure room will have 4 treasure chests. And they're always accompanied by extra enemies in the room. I'm going to break a rule that I just talked about of don't run through the middle because I'm a warrior and I can just round everything up. If you're new to soloing, I don't recommend doing this. It can go very bad very quickly. If I had stepped on a trap, I probably would have died, and that would have been very embarrassing. But yeah. All right, so I used the intuition. It shows you detect the call of the cursed horde on this floor. That's this glowy thing right here. The thing to keep in mind with the cursed horde, they share spawn points with traps. Traps aren't usually this far back out. Oh, I got an achievement. How about that for the horde? The lucky. Oh man. I can't change my title in here. That completely broke my train of thought. Oh, wait, they share spawn points with traps. So whenever you're going to open a cursed horde, you want to be very careful. Assume there's going to be a trap right next to it. Sometimes they could. They just have much less chance. So it's always better to play your odds where you have more chance of not setting one off than odds where you have more chances of setting one off. And usually they're not next to the wall here. They'll be like right here. Like this is sort of the sweet spot for where the traps to be. Like I wouldn't be surprised if I ran around somewhere over here. Maybe no trap in this room. It's a lucky room. How about that? What keeps bringing me back to it? People want the mounts, and I want the mounts too. So, my group that I started with on Palace of the Dead, we just wanted to do it. So we like everyone during lockdown. There is no glam, unfortunately. Well, that's not true. There can be. I take that back. There can be. You can get hairstyles too. And framer skits. I guess there's a lot of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can get. So we started with Palace of the Dead, which doesn't have a lot of rewards, but we just wanted to clear it. We kept dying on like floor between 180 and 190. And we're like, let's just go to Heaven on High. That'll be fun. So we took a break from Deep Dungeon and we did Heaven on High, and eventually we got our first 100 clear. When you get a 100 clear, you have an option of choosing. You get a special item, a special tome, and you can choose special items with your special tome. And they all chose housing furnishing, and I chose a cool earring or ring. I can't remember which, because I was like, oh, at least I can show it off on my character. And I looked the next morning, and I said, uh-oh, guys. I said, we have to go clear Heaven on High 4 more times now. Because if you clear it 4 times and get all the 4 jewelry items, you can get a special mount with those. So it's not an RNG mount. You just have to collect the items to be able to get the mount. So once I told them about that, they got excited. And then after we got our 5th, I can show you the mount after I get out of here. After we got our 5th kill, because we had to do an extra 5th one because they didn't choose the jewelry item the first time, we went back to Palace of the Dead, and with all that practice we had, we just smashed floor 200. And basically, after we did like our second Heaven on High kill, I was hooked. All right, let me get caught up. If they have Greek Lamb, yeah, there are hairstyles in all of them, I think. So there is in each of them, there is 1 mount you can get from platinum sacks. So you have to be on the highest floors to have those. Like right now, I'm just getting. I haven't gotten any yet, but when I get this, it'll just be a bronze sack. There won't be anything good from a bronze sack. Usually it's just materia. But Palace of the Dead, you can get the Night Pegasus. So it's like a black and red Pegasus mount. I can show you that one as well. And that's the only mount from Palace of the Dead. From Heaven on High, you can get a Dodo mount. That's from the Platinum Sacks. And then when you get your 100 clears, you get a cool horse mount. And then in Eureka Orthos, the sack mount is a crab, and the 4 clears is a really cool tiger. Yeah, it's just the Night Pegasus. Shiva's horse? I don't know about Shiva's horse. No, it doesn't have EX mounts in it. You might be thinking of the Mog tomes. Sure you didn't get it from the Mog tomes? This crab is the mount you can get from Eureka Orthos. My character is level 70, so I'm maxed out on like actual character level, and I am on floor 14. So I'm not going as fast as I normally would because I'm talking as well. So my apologies for that. And we found the exit. Yeah, so I'm running through the middle. Normally you don't want to do that. I'm just being way over leveled and a warrior. I'm just not concerned about it. Yeah, this crab you can get from the sacks in Eureka Orthos. Alright, so it turned orange, but it did not turn blue. So we gotta kill a few more things. Maybe one more thing, we'll see. There's no set number you have to kill, It could sit on orange for what seems like a forever. It just sort of depends. So on these early floors, so I guess I should go over traps. We'll start with the chests. On these early floors, gold chests are fine. Brown chests could be a mimic. And I think blue chests could be a mimic. On higher floors, only the gold chests can be mimics. So one of my best practices for like floors 51 and above, maybe 61 and above, is once you have a floor unlocked, you don't open any more gold chests because mimics will just slow you down. Yes, the Moonfire stuff you can get from Palace. We're just going to go up. I need to start speeding this up a little bit. I still got to go over Palmanders as well. Yeah, at some point they switch. So at some point the bronze chests will not be mimics anymore, and then the blue chests will not be mimics anymore, and only the gold chests will be. Unfortunately, I don't have the concrete. It's around 51. It's somewhere around there. I think 51 is gold chest mimics. It could be 61 as well, though. I can't remember. All right, let's go over Palmanders. So you might see me just randomly clicking the Palmanders. I have the whole grid memorized, so I just know where everything is. I don't really have to think about it. Starting left to right, we have safety. So safety will... What was that? Safety will delete all the traps from the floor, but that does not include blue chests blowing up as bombs. Those can still be traps with safety on. Next, we have sight. So sight will show the entire floor on the map. Super helpful if it looks like it's going to be a very large floor and you're not sure where you need to go. Again, it saves on time because at a certain point, time is your biggest enemy. Next, we have strength. So strength will increase both the damage you do and the healing you do. So on higher floors, it's actually pretty helpful for if you have a healer, for your healer to use that, because it will help their healing and their damage. After that is steel. That is basically like protect. It will just block a whole bunch of damage. Super helpful again on the higher floors. The mobs will hit so hard that you can go through like 3/4 of a health bar on one mob before they die. As a tank, I should say. Darn it. Next, we have affluence. So affluence will increase the amount of chests possible on the next floor. Since this is Square Enix, nothing is a guarantee, so it's always a possibility. And when you see me use a fortune, you'll see that. And that's also a callback to Final Fantasy XI, because a lot of the numbers and stuff were behind the scenes and you never knew what your character was actually doing. Next is flight. And these are unique to Heaven on High, by the way. Not all of them will be in the other deep dungeons. Some of them will. Flight will decrease the amount of enemies you need to kill on the next floor so you can go up faster. After that, we have alteration. That will change one room on the next floor to either be all mimics or all mandragoras, and both will have increased chance of dropping chests and blue chests. So you can use a fortune with that as well to help your chances. Next is purity. If you get attacked by a mimic and they get their move off, you can use that to clear their debuff, which lasts for 9 minutes. It's a very long debuff. After that is fortune. If you use that, it'll say fortune smiles upon you possibly. So it's very wishy-washy if it will actually work or not. I should not have used that because the next floor is 19. I did not realize I was that close to the exit. Next is witching. If you use a witching, it'll turn mobs in the area into... well, here we go. We're going to use it because that's a lot of enemies. So we use a witching. Boom. They turn into much more manageable type of enemies. On higher floors, they will still do a lot of damage. So even though they transform, they can still be pretty dangerous. Serenity will just clear the debuff off the floor. So like we have HP penalty. If I used Serenity, it would get rid of that HP penalty. Not on the floor. That would be affluence. So if you're just talking about chests, Kayan, if you're just talking about chests appearing on the floor, you would want to use affluence for that. Fortune only affects the mob dropping a chest. So there's always a chance that a mob will drop any kind of chest. Fortune will just make it so they have more chance of dropping it. Did that answer that question? Frailty is one of the best pomanders. If you hit that, it will make all the enemies on the floor weaker for like, I think it's like 7 minutes. It makes a big difference. It's really good. It depends on how much work I have to do at home. If I don't have a lot of work to do, I will literally do this for like 7 or 8 hours at a time, trying to get as high as I can. Once I start, I like to just keep going. When I do it in my groups, so every Wednesday night, I have a deep dungeon group. So I have all the mounts on this character now. I'm just now, we're helping another one of our friends get, I think we're doing Heaven on High right now. And I'm just using my primal character to go through the entire process again. So on that character, I now have like 2 floor 100 kills. So I only need 2 more on that character to get the horse mount. But on Wednesdays, we will go from like 9 o'clock until about either 10:30 or 11 my time, Central Time. So we would be wrapping up in like within the next hour normally, but I have no problem going a long time. Once I start, I get sucked in. I like to just keep going unless I get too tired. It's different on higher floors. So like on this Wednesday, we got up to floor 91, and we were tired and we called it for the night because we don't want to be making mistakes right at the end. So here you saw me try to walk right along the butt. That's because some mobs will aggro by sight, some will aggro by sound, and some will aggro by proximity. As you can see, these turtles are not proximity or sound because I can walk through the butt. So it's good to learn how all the mobs aggro so you know if you can sneak past them. Alright, now we got another easy boss. I think after this, I've covered most of the basics. If people would like to see if we can get a floor 50 kill in, that would be awesome. So we'll do Palace of the Dead because that's the prerequisite to open all the other ones. You can't open Eureka Orthos or Heaven on High unless you have a floor 50 kill. So after this, I will switch to my Kraken character, and I will do it on that character. Since I'll be in the FC, it'll be much easier to find me. But yeah, for these bosses, like, once you learn what you need to do, they're very mindless. The bosses in Eureka Orthos are a lot harder. There's just a lot more to them. The bosses in Palace of the Dead are not harder. They're kind of more annoying, but not harder. The bosses in Heaven on High, though, are just a joke. Yay! Alright, so you see it says I got 2 silver haloed sacks. Those were from our intuition. We will go see what we get for those. You get poetics, current tome, skill, all the good stuff. So the appraiser will appraise your sacks. I have 2 of them. Yes. Thabnarian Bustier. And a wind-up room, Ramu. Yay, good job. Alright, so real quick before I switch characters, I'll show you the mounts. Alright, this we'll start with this is Heaven on High Sax. This is the mount you can get. It is the Black Pegasus. Very nice mount. That is the only one from Palace of the Dead. And then this is the Heaven on High sack mount. It's a dodo. And then this is the horse from getting the 4 floor 100 kills. It's a very nice looking horse. It's one of my favorite mounts. I could see Hien riding it. And then we have, this is the Eureka Orthos sack mount. It's a crab. Very nice. And then the 4 100 kills, Eureka Orthos, is this cool looking tiger. You might have seen in maps without the armor. And then this is my Unreal mount from doing Unreals. For the tiger, a favorite for the deep. Oh, yeah. For favorites of the deep dungeon mounts, this is by far my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite. This is one of my favorite mounts. This is from Pandemonium 8. I love how it transforms between bird and dragon. The Pandemonium, that was raid, so the 8th raid. So, like, yeah, this Thunforge, that's a raid mount. And then this is probably one of my favorites. I had to do a whole bunch of fates to get this one. Basically, before Dawn Trail, all I did was fates. I was doing about 110 fates a day to get this thing. And I still didn't have enough. A friend of mine bought the rest of the certificates. I'm working on the Dawn Trail one. You can see I have 153 vouchers right now of the 500 I need. All right, I will switch over to Kraken character. Data Center, Dynamis. This is the other Zoot. All my characters are all named Zoot. Yep, that's me. And all my chocobos have the same name. Yeah, mine has to be Zoot, otherwise I will not be on that world. Oh, I can't repair in this character. All right, if you want to go 1 to 50, meet in Quarry Mill. I am open to any job, any role. It doesn't matter to me. I play anything. Let me. Character not found. Oh. I can clear that one. Yeah. No, go to Quarry Mill. This will be interesting. My Arms and Armor is 2014, but as we see, I helped actually someone from HJP. I helped them through, or no, maybe this was someone else. I did, but anyway, yeah. With this character, I've been through 51. Ba-da. Yeah, so the main jobs I play are Warrior, Gunbreaker. That's one job. It's called Tank. Reaper, Picto, and if I have to heal, usually White Mage. All right, anyone else? We got room for one more. All right. No, it can be anything. So a lot of times, just like with everything, there's discords like I've never run anything with them just because I'm so busy. But there is like a Discord just for people wanting. It's called Deep Dungeons, and like people will post, "Hey, party up in whatever data center, looking for to go to 100 or whatever." Um, a lot of times when they do like an organized run, um, they do it for DPS on purpose. Yeah, because you kill everything so much faster. They just they're probably all soloers, so they already know how to. Not all soloers, but they already know how to do it. Or the other thing I've seen is they'll do 3 DPS and 1 tank. Um, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I was just picking up some potions real quick. So, if you guys don't mind, uh, so you never cleared 50, correct? Yeah. All right. So, if everyone is okay, I am going to sort of speed run this so we can get that unlocked, and then you'll have the whole world of deep dungeons open to you. Nice. All right. We are going. Floor 1. Oh, someone's not ready. So you gotta have an open spot to be able to go in. If not, you do reset. So you click on the captain, reset your progress, and then click on either slot 1 or slot 2. Yeah. Nope. Aether pool stays no matter what. The only way you can change your Aether pool is either by opening blue chests or getting a grip. Yep, that doesn't change. You'll just have to start that run over, but it won't do anything about your Aether pool. Um. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. 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 All right. And we're going. Hey. All right. So I am gonna be going kind of fast. Feel free to ask questions as we go. We do start at level 1, so keep in mind you have no abilities. Phil. Yeah. No, you're good. I'm just gonna be killing things. This is gonna be. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So none of your gear from outside has any effect in here. Um, food can have an effect. Um, so food can increase your HP, help you take a couple more hits. Um, I always have them open because I'm always using the pomanders, so I need to see them. But it's personal preference. Yeah. Yeah, I make them smaller. Don't worry, I'm getting all the traps for everyone. But yeah, my first group. Sure, sure. If you're on PC, you can just right click it and scale window. You're good. Yeah, and if you're on and if you're on controller, you just have to have the windows selected and press the in on the R3, the right thumbstick, and that'll resize it. Yeah, yeah. This is its whole own thing. I think that's why I like it. Yeah, I think that's why I like it so much. Like this is by far my favorite content in the whole game. So when they said that non-transferable, it's like switching colleges and having to take all your classes over again. FF11 is its own beast, and I played that for a very long time. I think I played. No, because I had already sort of been out of it. So I stopped playing 11 back just before they increased the level cap to 99. I did come back after it was 99 and played some. But I played in the golden age of 11. And by the time this came out, that I was already winding down on that. I was already failing college. Yep. So, yep. So going back to my best practices, stick to the edges of the room. You have much less chance of. I won't follow that because I'm reckless and I don't care. But I recommend following that. Yes. Yeah. Let me run ahead and get all the traps. Like that. And that. So, a few more best practices I have. Um, when floors are easy, I try to use as little resources as possible. Um, it, like it, in a party, it doesn't really matter because you're good. Like hoarding our pomanders now doesn't. Well, in our case, it doesn't matter at all because we're probably not going past 50. I mean, we can someday if we want to, but like if you are in a party that's planning to go to 100, if you're on easy floors, I think as everything is resource management. So you want floors to take as little resources as possible. So resources are time, pomanders, potions, food. Um, the more you can get through those without using any of that, the more efficient you're going to be. Um, Now there's times where you have to use resources. Like let's say the treasure room is in a room where the elevator is. Um, you might have to use a pomander, otherwise it's going to eat into your other resource, which is time. So you're always balancing. Is it better to take more time, or is it better to use one of my pomanders? Other things to keep in mind, uh, like 8-Bit already said, you don't want to necessarily be running right on top of each other. Um, uh, because if someone does run over a trap, you don't want that hitting everyone else. So I used the clothy experience before talking about that. I didn't really talk about the return. Um, so in your mini map window, you'll see the left symbol. That's your return symbol, and then the key, which is that exit symbol. Um, uh, the return you can use if someone dies on the floor. You can go to that, and it'll raise everyone who's dead. Um, just an example, yeah, just as an example of that being used. The last floor 100 kill I got with my group 2 weeks ago. We were on floor 99. 99. And everyone died, and I was a bard. So it's not a job I typically play. It is something I definitely don't solo for this. And I had to kite my mobs around to kill them until the cairn of return lit up so I could raise everyone else. And there's a chance of a very deadly boss spawning on floor 99, and I didn't learn about until this like 8th time I've cleared Heaven on High. I had never seen or heard of this thing before, and it was pacing between the two rooms I was in, and so I'm trying to kill a mob while avoiding that while I'm being on a job I don't normally play. And all we had to do was clear that floor to get our 100 kill. Well, no, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. That was a spoiler, but Yeah, so that was a case of it being used. All right, we can exit. So always look in the square with the key, and that'll always be the exit. That's all right. You have to, yeah. So when we spawn in, this is why I wanted to do a two-parter, because it's always easy to come up with questions when you're in the middle of doing it. So when you see the key, it's all dark. See that? Up above. Yeah. So now we're going to kill something, and now it's lighter. See that? Now it's even lighter. And when it glows all the way, then you know it's open. So that's why I lock that window, because when you're on higher floors, you really want to see when that opens, so you're not killing more enemies than you need to, because that eats at one of your resources, which is time. And possible death. All right, we're going up. Only every 10 floors. So once you clear 10 floors, you'll get a portion of experience. Or not a portion, but a set amount. Right. And those are different content than this. Those are operation zones or whatever they call it. And these are deep. It gets confusing because one of the deep dungeons is literally called Eureka Orthos, and one of the operation zones is called Eureka. Yeah, I don't know why they named it like that, but they literally, outside of story, they have nothing to do with one another. Nope, that is completely different. That is also one of my favorite content in the game. Yeah, I've been a day one enjoyer of all the variant dungeons so far. We don't need it. I am happy to answer variant dungeon questions too, because I love that. I love that stuff. Yeah? Okay. All right. I'll think about that. Mm-hmm. Do you have your poison box? All right, we can go up. I mean, I don't on this character, but on my the characters I solo with, I do, because I'm over prepared. Yeah, when I started my solo journey, I stocked up on all the medicines. Yeah. Yeah. Nope, it's Heaven's Word. Yeah. Yeah, so to what you were saying before about leveling and stuff, back in Heaven's Word, uh, Palace of the Dead was used for leveling. People would just run 30 to 50 over and over and over for XP, but nowadays it's not very good XP. Yeah, even Eureka Orthos, the XP you get from it isn't very good compared to like Boja or whatever. Yeah. On to the next. Yeah, we're going to be going through this pretty quick. Feel free to ask questions, but as soon as the elevators open, please go to it. You will not need to rush like any cutscenes or anything. Feel free to enjoy those. But we will rush the actual content. Yeah. Well, oh, I don't see it as a change because they're completely different games. Um, but I don't know. I as much as I love Final Fantasy 11, if it released today, I just would not be able to play it. So yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it took me 9 or 10 months to reach level 75 the first time. Yep. Yeah. So if you're a higher level, you lose more XP. Yeah, so XP parties were usually 5 to 7 hours, is how much time you had to block out for that. Yeah, yeah. If you signed up for an XP party like in game, and you couldn't commit like at least 3 hours, they wouldn't even take you. Yes. So these slimes are timed mobs. If you don't kill them in a certain amount of time, they will explode and kill everyone. Uh, again, with how we are, it's not a big deal. Uh, just one of the things I wanted to point out as we went along. Other than that, there's not a lot of enemies around these levels that cause problems that I can remember. My memory is much better on Heaven on High than it is Palace of the Dead. Palace of the Dead, I don't really turn on my brain until like floor 121. Yeah, I'm getting tonned. Yes. Other things to think about. Uh, so, if you want to start a solo journey, uh, this is going to be generic in what everyone says. The best thing to do is just start. um, I would recommend getting your Aether pool at least to 60 or 80 before you make a serious attempt. Not saying you can't go in there before, but if you're like, all right, I'm finally going to go as far as I can, get your Aether pool, both of them, between 60 and 80. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up, I should have made notes. There's really only one guide for Deep Dungeon, and that is Maggie's. I will post a link to it in the Dungeon Journal. Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be streamers like we can go up. Yeah. It'll be streamers like Angelus Demonis. He's a great resource. He has his own Discord. If you post in there, hey, I'm working on these floors solo, I'm having trouble, he'll give you tips. He's a cool ass dude. And he's a Final Fantasy 11 vet. He's from the old days. And then this Maggie, I don't know who they are, but they have in this Google Docs, they have Palace of the Dead, Heaven on High, and Eureka Orthos, and they will tell what all the mobs do, what to look for, the danger level of each floor. Very good guide. And they even link to YouTube videos for bosses, which to me only applies to Eureka Orthos. So what's different about Eureka Orthos is they made the boss encounters more raid-like. So if you've raided in Final Fantasy 14, those bosses will be a lot more familiar to you than if you have not raided. And that's the thing that sets Orthos apart from the other ones. In some ways, it's easier because just like in raiding in Final Fantasy 14, if you don't get hit, then everything goes fine. So, like the veterans of Solo Deep Dungeon, they bashed Eureka Orthos for being too easy, which from that standpoint, it is, because if you just don't get hit, then it's easy. For plebeians like me, I think Eureka Orthos is hard because I have to think. No. Um, yeah. The numbers you heard me saying before, those were all raids. So like Pandemonium 8, those just refer to the floor of the raid. Yeah, Deep Dungeon doesn't have anything like that. They don't release floors at a time. It's just the whole thing. Hey, I randomly found a Cursed Orb. There's an achievement for doing that. So when they did the roadmap for Dawn Trail, they said they basically wanted to put everything in Dawn Trail that they've done to date. So that meant the exploration zone which they've already announced. Hasn't come out yet, but it has announced. You're fine. Cosmic. There you go. Cosmic exploration is new. Well, kind of. It's not new. No. They had DA done before. It's not new. Yeah. It's not really it's great content. It's just not my thing. I like the roulette wheel, and that's it. um, and then they said they wanted to continue variant and criterion dungeons, and they did say they were going to do deep dungeons along with a new limited job. But my prediction is they spread themselves too thin, and deep dungeon gets the axe out of all those. Hi. So that was a luring trap that just went off. Hi. Hello. Lure. Yep. So if that happens in higher floors, the recommendation is to let that person die and you raise them. That's no good. You are on stream, by the way. If you don't want your voice on YouTube stream, I can mute the stream from YouTube. I'm streaming an event. Okay. Yeah. I just did a poor job of multitasking there. No, you cannot. We're going up. Yep. Yeah, so the exit room was a treasure room, so we had to kill everything. Yeah, so we're doing an event in Final Fantasy 14 right now. Nope, you're good. All right, so mimics, if you get one, they'll do one move. I can't remember what it's called, like malice or something like that. Yeah, it will put a 9-minute debuff on you where you're just losing HP the whole time. It can be interrupted, and at lower levels it can be stunned, but at higher levels it can only be interrupted. And your goal is to have that never go off. The other move it does is called Death Trap, and it's just a point blank AoE that you have to stay out of. At higher floors, they do very high damage and they have a lot of HP, so they're best to avoid at high levels. It's just random. Yeah. So, that the one pomander I mentioned, the Serenity, you can use that to clear a floor debuff. But it's only worth using if you need to, because when you get to the higher floors, you will pretty much always have a debuff on every floor for the higher ones. Like the last 7 floors you do will all have a massive debuff. $33. It just depends on how many mobs you kill. Yeah. Yeah, like we'll be around 40 to 50 when we clear floor 30. If you're killing everything, you can almost be 60 by 30, I think. On this boss, just make sure you kill the bees when they spawn. And you're just gonna die before then. So this is sort of like what I was saying, when you have a full party, the difficulty is sort of negligible. So like my friend and I've been coaching her through Heaven on High just because we were looking for something to do. And so we just go in, the two of us. And the only reason we do that is so we don't have to organize a schedule or anything. We can just go whenever we're both on. And so the difficulty of going up with 2 people is different than all 4 people. All right, we good? Yeah, I think one of the kills we did it with 3 people. Like, it doesn't have to be just solo or 4. You can any number between 1 and 4. And I will say, especially if you want to solo, the more comfortable you can get with your job, the better off you'll be. Because if you're trying to solo, but you're also thinking about rotation and you're thinking about damage and thinking about what button you have to hit to stay alive, it just compounds pretty quickly with all the stuff you need for solo deep dungeon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the first job that actually soloed a deep dungeon all the way to 100 was Red Mage. Yeah, that was the first job of someone that ever cleared floor 200 of Palace of the Dead. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if Palace or Heaven on High was cleared first. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Hmm. The mobs do not scale depending on how many you have. So all the mobs are, yeah, all the mobs are the same whether you're solo or 4 people. Nope, it's all the same. Nope, all the same. Because the amount of mobs is random. So you could have a floor where you only have to kill a few things, or you could have a floor where you have to kill a whole bunch of things. Oh, I don't have Tink Stance on, sorry. You cannot have more than 4, no. Alright, we can go up. Yep, 1 to 4 and that's it. Yeah. Oh my. Yeah, I stepped on a trap. Yeah, yeah. Eh. Oh, I would, okay, yeah. I was we can go up. I was listening to demanding as in like what's required of you to clear like the raids and stuff, and I was just like, I don't know about that. Yeah. Yeah, this game is not as gear dependent. Yeah, so the first MMO I ever heard of was World of Warcraft because I was a huge Blizzard fanboy. Diablo 2 is my favorite game. Um, yeah, so so I knew of World of Warcraft because I played Diablo 2. I played a druid in Diablo 2. I saw a druid in the trailer of WoW, and I was like, I want to play that game. But I was in college, I think a junior, and my friends started playing Final Fantasy 11 on PS2, and they were showing me this game, and I was like, looks dumb. And then I started playing it, and It was dumb, but I enjoyed it. Uh, but yeah, I played, I played Final Fantasy 11 for a long time, and when I eventually got a PC that I could play games on, I did get World of Warcraft, but WoW was like my solo MMO. So I never grouped up with anyone in WoW until Miss of Pandaria. And I started before Cataclysm. Yeah, and I started in vanilla, and but I never grouped with anyone until very late into the game. Yeah, I farmed Crimson Whelpings to sell on the market board. um, I did up until recently. Work just got too busy. But my FC that I play with in this game, they're called AIE. They started in um, World of Warcraft, uh, and they were loosely tied to a podcast about World of Warcraft that everyone knows. Um, uh, yeah, it was called The Instance. It's like a huge WoW thing. Um, um, and but so like in COVID, I was like, oh, I have time to play an MMO again. So I fired up WoW, and when I joined the AIE Discord, I saw they had Final Fantasy 14 on there. I was like, oh, well, I'll play that game instead. And then I've sort of bounced back and forth between the two since then. So that was like pre Shadowlands. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was in a for a while. I was in a raid group on Fridays, and for most of them it was like their second raid group, so they were in it to like just have fun on Friday night, and I had to be late every day because I have practice until like almost 8 o'clock. Um, yeah, sorry, I got this. Um, and just because I have to show up late all the time, um, I just told them I don't have time to do it. And plus, um, my entire week is governed by scheduled game time, so I needed I needed to free up a night where I could do whatever I wanted. Cause like Tuesday is Final Fantasy 14 raid night, Wednesday is Deep Dungeon night, Friday was WoW raid night, and then Saturday my FC we do maps, and then Sunday I have a gaming group I play with. So it's like I was like, I need a day. Yeah, yeah. Plus, with the newest WoW expansion, um, I kind of yeah, it's alright. I got it. Um, uh, Doing the raids just kind of felt pointless because I was getting plenty good enough gear from just doing the delves that the whole first raid tier of this expansion, I didn't loot a single piece of gear from the raids that our group did. Now, there were harder raids we could have done, but that group just doesn't do them because Friday night is their casual night, which is fine. I mean, I don't need a hardcore WoW raid. And then even above that, I enjoy raiding in this game a lot more than WoW. Yeah, like even my raid group in Final Fantasy 14, we are very casual. We only raid Tuesday nights. Most groups will do 2 or 3 nights a week. But most of the people in our raid group have families and stuff, and we just don't have time for that. So, yes. Yeah, so we just do it for fun. We do 3 hours on Tuesday night, and we just make whatever progress we can make. I am happy to say we are the furthest ahead of schedule that we've ever been before, though. We got to enrage on M5S in one raid night. Now, a couple of people in the group cleared it in Party Finder, but still. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Yeah. I don't know, because I don't talk in these discords very much. I'm not very good at that. Like, I join these large discords and then I never do anything is my MO. But most of that is just life. I get busy. Oh, no problem. I almost canceled so I could play Claire Obscure, so it's amazing. It is one of my favorite games I've ever played. Oh, stand on the edges after it does 4 of these things. We have to run to the middle, which is where that just went. So So that's 2. This is going to be number 3. Alright, as soon as it spits out the 4th one, you have to get to the very center of the room, pretty much. Yep. Yeah, it's just funny, kind of funny hearing that, because I consider myself a very, very casual player. Like, I don't... Yeah, because, like, I don't like just diving into Party Finder. Like, people in my raid group, they'll just go into Party Finder and farm extremes all day long for mounts and stuff. And I'm not against doing that. It's just I like playing with my friends. So if I'm going to farm an extreme, I'd rather do it with 7 of my friends than 7 strangers. But everyone's so busy, so I just never log in. Oh, I mean, in this game, it's not hard because they just post it in Party Finder and you just hit join. I don't know. I don't play with random people in WoW. Yeah, I will say Party Finder in this game is kind of like that. Like, there's not a whole lot of tolerance to learn. It's kind of, if you're not perfect, then I'll find someone else. It's not 100% true. Like, of course, I've had like really good parties in Party Finder before. Like, here's a good example of a good one. So this is way back in the day. So my original character is on Leviathan Primal, and that used to be like the headquarters for Final Fantasy 14 streamers for the most part. Like, a whole bunch of them were on Leviathan, and a lot of my friends weren't playing, and so I was just like hunting around Twitch to see who was playing Final Fantasy 14, and I found this one guy, the Great GQ, and they were doing, they were either doing Moogle Mog, Hard, or Extreme. I don't remember which, and they were in progress. So, like, they had lost a healer, so they were just sitting in there waiting for a healer to join the party. And this was before, like, the Party Finder was a thing. So all we had was the Duty Finder. We didn't have the Party Finder. So they're just sitting in the Duty Finder waiting for someone to join, and I see it on stream, and I'm like, well, I have a level 50 White Mage. I can go in there. And so I went in there, helped them out, cleared it, and just became friends with a whole bunch of them. And the funny thing is from that one interaction, they thought I was a healer, and I was just like, no. I like that you're practicing your kiting. That's very good. Good job. Conflict? Yeah. So if you saw me stand on that trap on purpose, that's an actual strategy you can use with the mobs. Whatever debuff the traps do will also apply to the mobs, not just you. Yeah. Yeah, so if you see like an exploding bomb or exploding trap, you can step on it and it'll do damage to the mob. I mean, it also does damage to you, but as long as you don't die. Yeah, mainline jobs will never be full pet class. All the way back in A Realm Reborn, HJP always said he doesn't like the idea of pets. No, those aren't pets. No, those are spells. Yeah. Summoner used to be a pet class in this game. Like, you could use Titan to actually tank mobs, but yeah, people abused it in the Ramu EX and then they took it out. Don't step on the trap. Yeah. Yeah, so the traps are it'll take away your abilities is one, a bomb is another one. So in Heaven on High it'll turn you into an otter. Here it's a frog. I think Orthos it's a imp. I think you turn into. And then other traps, I think for the most part that's all of them. Yeah, like silence, enervation will. I can't remember what enervation is. All right, we can go up. Yeah. I think the higher floors are only 60 minutes, though. I think. I could be wrong. I can't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. Yep. Kill fast, go up. Mm-hmm. And water. That's the Boja, the new Boja. We're at the elevator. Yeah, I'm here. I'm good. I'm just listening. Oh, that was just party chat. That was just party chat. I was just yeah. Yeah, I don't know about borrowed from another game, but I wish they made the base part of this game a little more challenging. Yeah, because I will say, even with Endwalker, uh, it as much as I enjoyed it and it was good, it just feels like playing a walking simulator sometimes. Yeah, and yeah, and it, yeah, and the battle content is fine. It's just they need more of it in between the walking simulator. Like, I don't think they need to swing to WoW levels where you get to a new zone and it's automatically like, all right, go kill a billion things. Um, uh, yeah, like the thing that. Good. Mm-hmm. Like in WoW, in Dragonflight, you land onto the island and it's like, oh, we gotta help the dragon people. And the first thing they do is like, go kill a whole bunch of dragons. It's like, okay. If you say so. Yeah. Yeah. Or just add a few more dungeons. Like, in order to get the ingredients, you have to get it from the last boss of a dungeon, and they add 3 more dungeons. But I don't want to grapevine. I told you we'd try to go fast. Yeah. And even those improvements, I don't think they're Dawn Trail improvements. They're just the game improvements. It goes back and forth, but for the most part, yeah. Yeah, some expansions are more important than others, and it it leads to WoW's overall problem is they can't decide what they want to do with the game. That's the promise. Yeah, and the way their system works, if you skip a bit and you come back, then the story is all out of order and there's no way to like track what you need to do next. It's not very good. Yeah, because you still have to level to the max level, but like there's no MSQ in that game like there is this game. So you'll see like 5 main scenario icons up, and you just got to pick one to do, and it sets you on a path. So you could be doing the patch content before the base expansion content. Mm-hmm. No problem. Yep. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not worried about it. Just buy a boost. I'll also tell you a fallacy of Final Fantasy 14. It's a secret. Us old timers know. No one cared about the story until Shadowbringers. if anyone, if anyone tries to tell you they played in A Realm Reborn and they cared about the story, they're lying. Oh, shoot. That was my bad. Yeah, even to this day, I've never seen the entirety of Heaven's Word without skipping parts of it. Oh, we were in the elevator room. My bad. Up or down. Always down. Yeah, Deep Dungeon or Palace of the Dead goes down, Heaven and I goes up, and I don't know where Yuriko Orthos goes. Yeah. I mean, there were elevators and coils. I guess we were going down there as well. Yeah. Ilm. Yeah. That's yeah. Ilms is like inches. Yalms is like yards. Before I pull the last boss, I am going to talk about the floor 50 boss. It's not as face rolly as some of the other ones. I can sprint. Yeah, sprint is also your friend in Deep Dungeon. Jog. Yep. It certainly does. Japanese company. There we go. Oh, there's a blue chest. Eh. We all die. You load into floor 50, you get a game over screen, and your character is deleted. Well, where do you think we are? It is called Palace of the... No, this is the capstone to that story. That's why this is Palace of the Dead. We're like descending into hell. So on this one, you have to avoid all the moves, because for every one that someone gets hit by, she does at the end of each cycle, she does a big AoE, and it does more damage the more mechanics you mess up. So Don't be standing too far away from her because there is a point where you're gonna have to run. She'll do a point blank, so you have to run away, and then she'll do a donut where you have to go directly uh, into her hitbox. So don't be too stick close by, sort of. All right, here we go. In. So that's the one. It'll do a lot of damage if we get hit by stuff. And she'll look away. And she'll continually add more mechanics. Look away. In. Out. And it's a big out. And easy. And floor 50 done. I told you it wouldn't take very long. Yeah, I think that took like an hour and 20 minutes. That's not too bad. Yeah, this is all I had. I was just gonna ask if if there were any more deep dungeon questions. I am happy to answer anything. So the sex you got, you click on the bishop and appraise. As far as anything else, it would be Iona Kotor. And you're exchanging artifacts for different stuff. So you have the sustaining potions, the materia, there's minions and stuff, but you would have to do more clears to get more pot shards to get some of that stuff. No, that's just a side quest. Yeah, to do more floors and stuff, you just talk to the captain here and enter Palace of the Dead. Um, I just like that it's different than everything else in the game. So, um, I don't know. It's just the type of content I enjoy rating. So, I like the fact that well, if I fail, I can just learn from it and go back in and try again. You hardly like you can fail because of dumb luck. Um, Example, one floor I did, I got four mimics in a row from the same chest. I would call that dumb luck. um, I would kill it, and then it would drop a chest, and I would open it, and it was another mimic. Um, yeah, that was frustrating. Um, that ate up like 15 minutes of my run. uh, uh, yeah, I like that it gives me something to work towards when I can just be by myself, because without it by myself, all there is run dungeons and stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the other yeah, so the other thing that is also something I've mostly exhausted, which is the Blue Mage Mask Carnival. um, that is also one of my favorite things in the game, but I've done them all and I got my umbrella and everything. No, that so no. The umbrella is you have to meet certain requirements um, uh, from Go-Go, the last one. Like you can't take any damage, and you have to kill them in a certain amount of time, and you have to use a certain amount of elements, and you'll get the umbrella. What you get from Criterion is a way to enhance the umbrella so it has like a glow effect. Yeah, it made me mad because when I was going for it, I would watch videos and they're like, "Oh yeah, it was so easy. I didn't even try to do it, and I did it the first time going through." And I was like, "I hate you." But yeah, I like challenges like that where I can just bang my head against the wall until I get it. Yeah, yeah. I'm not super keen on going through 200 floors in a party again because there's nothing to get from it. um, but I'm always down for Heaven on High or Eureka Orthos. Yeah. Yeah, I helped several people through that. I was just like, oh, just come with me. No, because most of the deep dungeon stuff I do now is solo because I have everything. Yeah, I mean, I help people, but I'm like I have all the rewards, so yeah. So Heaven on High is Lone Hero. I don't know what Eureka Orthros is, and yeah, and this one is the Necromancer. I really want that one. Yes. Yeah, when you yeah, and the floor 180 boss is very hard. Um, I yeah, I don't know if that Discord is invite only or so sorry. I did put in there the Maggie guide, which has videos of all the bosses and stuff. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I was invited to that Discord, so I don't know if it's something I'm allowed. I don't even know if I can invite people. Sorry. Sure. Yeah, where do we want to go? Yeah, yeah. If I can make a suggestion, I would start with Heaven on High because it is the more approachable of the three. The bosses aren't too hard. The floors are the hard part of Heaven on High, but it's the most accessible. And since it's not a full 200 floors, you'll learn what you need to do for a deep dungeon quicker than you would if you try to start with Palace of the Dead. Yeah, 60 to 70. I think so. Yeah, you have to have Stormblood finished, and it's at Onokoro. Uh, yeah, cool. You're welcome. Well, I do have an idea for a Heaven on High event. It would be a race, so you'd be in teams of 1 to 4 or whatever, and it's just a race to see what team can climb the highest the fastest. I mean, you could do it with 4. There's 4 teams right there if you do solo. But it would have to be. I wouldn't have time until August because with my swim season, the summer season is super short. So